This episode, Who Has the Ace of Hearts? Continued. It's either here or it's not here. It's either
episode 10 with John Cage. I was really worried
and the
that
way
I
Ace of Hearts
wouldn't be able
play,
to.
it can be used at the beginning or end of any number cycle because it's either a 1 or it's a high card. And it's both at the same time. It is the beginning and the end at the same time. If you use it at the beginning,
You know what zero is, kids?
there never was
It's no.
there's
I think
never
it's
one
devil.
at the end.
I'll tell you what, because
And
I'll
if
tell you what
use it
zero
at the
is.
end, there
Zero
was never one at
is
the
or isn't
beginning.
a number.
You can only use it at
Yeah,
one
because
number cycle.
If an ace is
So,
involved, then
That's the
zero is
situation we
outside
stand at.
of
We
the
got this
number
52
system.
seconds
Because the top
to
number and the bottom number are
understand
the
how
same
it stands
thing.
it that way,
You see?
and how it is defined or not
Add the
defined,
word zero.
and whether that will be discussed or not discussed. And this is the Ace of Hearts presenting a problem or an answer, but it's still the Ace of Hearts.
Third episode, he was putting all those numbers to let you know that the number system, you should pay attention to it because he was putting
This episode, Who Has the Ace of Hearts? Continued. It's either here or it's not here. It's either included in this video or it's not included in this video. And the way Ace of Hearts play, it can be used at the beginning or end of any number cycle because it's either a 1 or it's a high card. And it's both at the same time. It is the beginning and the end at the same time.
But if there's
If
something,
you
then
use
there's
it
not
at the
nothing.
beginning,
That's what zero is. That's why it's
then there never was
not necessarily a real
there's
number.
never one to end.
Throw in the
And then if
fact
you use it at the end,
that ace is not
there
zero.
was never one at the beginning. You can only use it at one number cycle. So that's the situation we stand at. We got this 52 seconds to understand how it stands it that way, and how it is defined or not defined, and whether that will be discussed or not discussed.
And this
is the Ace of Hearts presenting a problem
because in
or an
the
answer,
Sabbatimus concept,
but it's still the
there's
Ace of Hearts.
neither something or nothing becomes one thing, and that one thing either exists or it doesn't exist. And if it exists, it's also everything. He's talking about you see more empty space than you do things, and there's power in that. And in the power of that was he was telling you the outcome of all this, and that's how we couldn't help but arrive here. Once we followed the course of believing, there was a purpose for following the course other than what he was intending. And that, or it following because you did feel always what he was intending. Either way, you wind up at zero. And I'll tell you why it's dangerous here, because you know that Johnny Cash song, Going Down in a Burning Rain of Fire, kids? He's talking about zero. You go into that and you get changed by it. He's talking about love. And that's what he said he was going to create. Why he played the Ace of Hearts. You get clues of that too in the song about John Cage. He said, "Who wrote the book?"
You know what
of
zero
love
is, kids?
What she meant. John Cage was writing the book
I
of
think it's
love.
devil.
Had to end
I'll tell you
in
what,
hearts.
because I'll tell you what
But
zero
the heart is either played
Zero
at the beginning
is or isn't a number.
of the whole story
Because
it was your
if
ace
an ace is
followed the
involved,
heart to begin with.
then zero is
See,
outside
and
of the
love
number system.
For the
Because
sicko
the top
he is,
number
proceed
and the
with
bottom
love,
number are the
or
same
proceed
thing.
the other way
See?
and deny the love that he ultimately deserved in the
How it's a
beginning
bad
because
thing
he
we're
was,
at zero?
he was the artist. Either
Now,
way. And you can't take him out of the fashion because we wouldn't be
went
here if
this
he was.
way
I wouldn't
the
be
whole
in this
time.
situation.
And I can tell you how I know that.
Had
Look
done
back
this.
at the number system
And you
when
know
he was
what?
talking about the first
I'll tell you a story.
fourth part of the first third episode. He was putting all those numbers to let you know that the number system, you should pay attention to it because he was putting tricks in it. Neil Cassidy's second part of the first third, all that stuff, trying to get your mind wrapped up in that stuff. And now he's led you to it. Episode 0, where we were going to get to begin with. I told you he was.
He didn't say that. He was
You don't
about how
understand what 0 is. 0's not nothing.
the
0
monster
is
didn't
wrong.
invent it. Here's what happened.
It is dividing
I was in a
of
situation
whether there is something or isn't something.
hot
There can't
desert
be the
day.
concept of having nothing.
And I'm
You're
crossing
doing
the
something,
desert,
but
not
if there's
having
something, then
came
there's
from
not
a repair
nothing.
shop and someone put
That's
my
what
car
zero is. That's why it's
okay. And
not
they
necessarily a
didn't
real
tighten the
number.
lug nuts.
When you
And so I get down to
throw in
road,
the fact that
well,
he's using
the wheel
aces,
fell
not
off.
zeros.
Now there I am on the side of the road.
Zero lies outside of it. That means
Lug nuts
you know what he
for
created?
this vehicle. And I
The
had to
season.
take care of it because I was
He
going to
completed
burn
the
up in the hot
cycle.
sun.
He made the
Nobody
loop
gives
through the
somebody
circle.
like
Made
me
the
a ride.
zero.
Because I
And now that he's
take
created,
work
he
because
keeps
I don't
clues the
need
whole
nothing from
time.
other people. I'm the
What
one
did you
that
think
takes
he was
care of
talking
it.
about when he was
Understand?
talking about? He couldn't
I
use
was
a name that
gonna
was
solve
already
this
been
myself.
used. He was telling you by a different name when he
looking what
described Sabonibus. Because in the Sabonibus concept, there's neither something or nothing becomes one thing.
Okay.
And that
Monster
one
didn't
thing
invent it.
either
Here's what
exists or it
happened.
doesn't exist. And if it
I
exists,
was in
it's
a
also
situation-
everything. He's talking about you see more empty space than you do things. And there's power in that. And in the power of that was he was telling you the outcome of all this. And that's how we couldn't help but arrive here. Once we followed the course of believing, there was a purpose for following the course other than what he was intending. And that or it following because you did feel always what he was intending. Either way, you wind up at zero. And if I'll tell you why it's dangerous here, because you know that Johnny Cash song going down in a burning around a fire, kids?
You go
talking
into
about
that
zero.
and you get changed
You go
by it.
into
He's
that
talking about
and you
love.
get changed by
And
it.
that's
He's
what
talking
he
about
said
love.
was gonna create-
And that's what he said was going to create, why he played that
Ace of Hearts.
the Ace of
Gave clues
Hearts.
to that too, and the
He
song
gave clues to
about
that
John
too.
Cage.
And the song about John Cage,
Said, who wrote the book
said,
of love was sticking
who
with
wrote the book
cement?
of love was sticking with
John Cage
cement.
was writing the book of
John
love.
Cage
It
was
had to
writing the
end
book
in
of love.
hearts.
It had to
But
end
the
in
heart is
hearts.
either played
But the
at
heart
beginning
is either played at the
of
beginning
the whole story,
of
because
the
it
whole
was
story,
your ace you follow
because
the
it
heart
was
to
your
begin
ace you
with,
follow the
and
heart to
proceed
begin with,
and
and proceed
love
in love
for the sicko he is.
for the sicko
proceed
he
with it in
is,
love,
proceed
or
with his love, or proceed
in another
of
way,
another way and deny the love that he ultimately deserved in the beginning because he was the artist.
Either
Either
way,
way,
and
and you can't
kick him out of
kick
the
him out of the faction because we wouldn't be here if he was. I wouldn't be in this situation if he had done this. And you know
And
what?
You know what?
I'll tell you a story. Tell you a story. Tell you a story. Might clear some things up. Remember that story Monster wanted to tell you about donut? Oh no. He didn't say that. He was touched about how something got invented. Okay. Monster didn't invent it. Here's what happened. I was in a situation that was a hot desert day. And I'm crossing the desert, and came from a repair shop, and someone put my tire on it. Okay? And they didn't tighten down the lug nuts. And so I get down the road. The wheel fell off.
The wheel fell
On
off.
the side of the
Now
road.
there I am on the side of the road. I've got no
Lug nuts for this vehicle, and I had to take care of it because I was going to burn up in the hot sun. Nobody gives somebody like me a ride because I won't take one because I don't need nothing from other people.
And
I'm the one
he's
that
like,
takes care of other people. Don't you understand?
show me.
Well,
And
I was going to solve this.
I said, look at this.
myself. And so I was
I
looking what
rolling
was in
this
the
straight as
vehicle,
could.
and you know, for that
And I got
pork
down
chop
the road.
business is it was
And I get to
flour and stuff like
some
that.
old
Because some sort of
nobody.
baking thing that was going
And
on.
I tell them the
I
story.
take what's there, on an egg and that flour, a little bit of moisture to shape it.
Situation,
Make some
hot desert day.
that vehicle, and I let the sun.
And I'm
make
crossing the
warm.
desert, and I had came from a repair shop, and someone put my
And I
tire
mixed
on.
it up, and
Okay.
boy, that sun baked it
And
good. And I
They
kept
didn't
keep
tighten
rolling just
down the
straight
lug
as
nuts, and so I get down
and
the
I got down the
road.
road.
Well, the wheel
And I
fell
get
off.
to
Now there I am
some
on the side of
old
the road.
nobody,
No
and I tell them the story
lug nuts
about
for this vehicle.
how
I had
I'm
to take
getting
care of it
donuts.
because I was going to burn up in the hot sun.
And
Nobody gives
he's like,
somebody like me a ride
show me.
because I won't take one
And
because I don't need nothing.
I
from
said,
other
look at this.
people. I'm the one that takes
This
care of it.
vehicle
You
needed
understand?
nuts.
I was going to
and
solve this
I
situation
made them myself out of dough.
And so I was looking
Isn't
what
that clever?
was in the vehicle.
And he looks at it.
That
You know what he
pork
said?
chop business is it was
You made the
flour
donut
and stuff
holes.
like that, because
The
some
goddamn
people-
holes. That's what he was telling you about to begin with.
What's there?
The holes were created by a stupid lug stud.
A little bit of moisture to shape it.
All my genius applied to that, and the lug stud had beat me to making the donut.
And I let the sun bake them on. I got out with a
Yes,
magnifying
kids.
glass and I got it hot. And I mixed it up. And
Yeah, I think it's
where that sun baked it good. And I kept the vehicle rolling just as straight as could. And I got down the road. And I get to some old nobody. And I tell him the story about how I invented donuts. And he's like, show me. And I said, look at this. This vehicle needed nuts, and I made them myself out of dough. Isn't that clever? And he looks at it, and you know what he said? Who made the donut holes?
yeah.
The goddamn
I
holes!
tell you
That's
what,
what he was
I'll
telling
tell you
about
what
to begin
zero
with.
is.
The
Zero
holes were
is or
created
isn't a number.
by a stupid lug stud.
And so I
All my genius applied to that, and the lug stud had beat me to making the donut holes.
It was
This was the setup for the whole time. A monster told you.
Making
You know
things
where
going
monster
on.
comes from?
Take what's there on an egg and that flour,
That's
a
me.
little bit of moisture to shape
This
it,
way.
and I'm gonna make some lug nuts for that vehicle. And I let the sun bake them on.
Tell you
I got
what,
it out with a
since we're
magnifying
still
glass
here.
and I got it hot. And I mixed it up
Tell
and
you a little something else.
where that sun baked it good. And I
Season
kept the
2.
vehicle rolling just as straight as could. And I got down the road.
Here's the thing.
And I get
Zero
to
is not inside the
some
season. You're
Nobody.
in space.
And I tell them the
Space.
story
It can be as broad of a space
how I
for all
invented
eternity,
donuts.
and there can never be another episode.
And he's like,
Well, there can be
show
another
me.
episode. That's the problem with
And
zero. Zero's undefined.
I said, look at
It's
this.
either a space
This vehicle needed
exists between something,
nuts.
or it's nothing
And
between
I
something.
made them myself out of dough.
And if it's nothing between
Isn't
something,
that clever?
then we're already there.
And he looks at it
And
and
it's
you know what he
still
said?
all going. That's right.
Who made the donut holes?
You understand?
The goddamn holes! That's what he was telling you about to begin with.
At the beginning
The
or the
holes
end.
were created
And
by
the
the
number
stupid
system
lug
can't be
stud.
fixed now, because you fell
All
into
my
the
genius
zero.
applied to that,
Proved
and
that
the
whole
lug stud
point-
had beat me to making the donut holes. That's what this was the setup for the whole
Season
time.
2.
A monster told you. You know where monster comes from?
Come where it-
That's me when he gets his way.
Monster told you. You know where monster comes from?
I'll tell you what, since we're still here,
It's me when he gets his way.
I'll tell you a little something else. In season 2,
I'll tell you what.
Come where
since
it
we're
can't.
still here.
here's the thing. Zero is
I'll
not
tell you
inside the
something
season.
else.
We are in a space.
Season 2.
Space. It can be as broad of a space
come
for
where
all
it can't.
eternity, and there can
Here's
never
the
be
thing,
another
Zero is
episode.
not inside the
There
season.
can be another
You're in
episode. That's the
space.
problem with zero.
Space.
Zero's
It can
undefined.
be as broad of a
It's
space
space
for all eternity, and there
It's
can
just
never
between
be another
something.
episode.
where it's nothing
But
between
there can be
something.
another episode. That's the problem
And
with
if it's
zero.
nothing
Zero's
between
undefined.
something,
It's
we're
either
already
space
there.
that
And it's still
exists
going
between
on.
something, or it's nothing between something.
You understand?
And if
At
it's
the
nothing
beginning
between
or
something,
the end, at the
we're
beginning
already
or the
there.
end,
and it's still
and the number system can't be fixed now because you fell into the zero.
There's a
It
beginning
proved
or
at the
an
whole
end,
point
the beginning
now
or the end,
you've let him achieve an
and the
artwork.
number system
It's
can't be
undeniable.
fixed now.
In
Because
fact,
you fell into the
you're
zero.
brilliant.
It proved at the whole
You know what?
point, and now you've let him achieve
I
an
wonder who all
artwork.
these people are.
It's
I wonder who
undeniable.
all these people are who aren't all these
Fact.
people.
Kind
I
of brilliant.
wonder who
You know what?
what's love. Keep the heart
I
suggest.
wonder who all these people are. I wonder who all these people are who aren't all these people. And I wonder who wants love. That's what the heart suggests.